Imagine learning that communities shunning modern tech have found answers to your everyday difficulties. For generations, the Amish have discreetly refined clever innovations that surpass costly devices. These 25 remarkable Amish answers function without power, are virtually indestructible, and address common issues so efficiently it makes you question our tendency towards complexity. The no-electric refrigerator. Have you ever pondered how food preservation worked prior to electrical power? The Amish mastered this skill with their brilliant electricity-free refrigerators. These smart cooling containers operate using basic physics, namely evaporative cooling, which naturally pulls heat away as water turns to vapor. All that's required are two earthenware pots, one fitting inside the other, sand and water. The inner pot is placed within the outer, and the space between is packed with damp sand. A moist cloth draped over the top completes a cooling unit capable of keeping contents 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than the ambient air. The genius of this setup lies in its use of readily available materials. No sophisticated tech or failure-prone complex components, just basic items harnessing natural laws. I constructed one myself last summer when the power was out for 3 days. As my neighbors saw their groceries go bad, my milk remained unspoiled for several days. The truly impressive part? These coolers can preserve vegetables for weeks using zero electricity. An Amish farmer utilizes one to keep dairy items cool during sweltering Pennsylvania summers. He chuckled when I mentioned my $2,000 smart refrigerator, which fails every few years. "This design is centuries old," he remarked, "because improvement isn't necessary." While the cooling functions optimally in arid environments, it can substantially prolong food viability even in damp conditions. The wool wringer. Wash day in an Amish home appears vastly different from the automated process familiar to most. Among their cleverest creations is one addressing an issue still vexing contemporary homes: the proper way to dry wool garments without causing damage. The wool wringer employs a straightforward mechanism of wooden rollers, featuring a smart variation. In contrast to metal wringers, which can damage fibers, these wooden rollers possess a subtle give, extracting water while maintaining the original form of woolen items. Its structure supports 2 cylinders rotating oppositely via a hand crank, drawing the clothing between them with appropriate force. Its operational effectiveness is genuinely remarkable. Studies indicate it cuts drying duration by an impressive 70% and prevents the feared shrinkage responsible for condemning countless sweaters to charity bins. The wood's mild pressure actually safeguards the wool's lanolin, prolonging the garment's lifespan by years. My own sweaters now endure 3 times longer than they used to. Regarding laundry expenses, and contrasting it with the typical $300 to $500 annual outlay for dry cleaning, this basic device seems more like sound financial sense than merely quaint traditionalism. The appeal of this Amish creation lies in its endurance. Numerous families utilize the identical wringer across generations, needing no fixes, whereas contemporary machines require replacement roughly every 10 years. This serves as a prime illustration of how uncomplicated answers frequently prove more durable than complex alternatives. The workmanship evident in these wooden implements shows a level of detail frequently absent in factory-made goods. Rollers are commonly crafted from maple or cherry wood, selected for their resistance to water and fine texture. The handles were conceived with user comfort in mind, well before ergonomic turned into a popular sales term. Spiral herb dryer. Kitchen space is often limited, highlighting the ingenuity of the Amish spiral herb dryer. This upright drying apparatus occupies very little floor area, yet offers substantial drying room. Its construction is exceedingly basic. A main wooden shaft features spiraling arms, each fitted with multiple small wooden pegs. Freshly picked herbs are suspended from these pegs, permitting air to move unrestrictedly around them. The helical layout prevents moisture dripping from higher tiers from affecting herbs below. This functional creation conserves the essential oils and characteristics of herbs much more effectively than oven or microwave drying methods, which frequently degrade the desired compounds. Every tier of the spiral can accommodate distinct types, enabling the simultaneous drying of everything from fine mint to hardy sage. In Lancaster County, a farmer demonstrated using twine to secure bundles onto the pegs. The key, he explained, is maintaining small, well-separated bunches. His spiral dryer occupied a kitchen corner, using under 1 square foot of floor area, but capable of drying sufficient herbs for the entire winter. Comparing it to electric food dehydrators retailing for $200 to $300 provides a moment of amusement. These plastic devices consume power, occupy counter real estate, and frequently malfunction after just a few years. Conversely, numerous Amish households continue to use herb dryers constructed by their great-grandparents. It prompts the question, why pay for electricity to achieve what air accomplishes naturally at no cost? Such pragmatic insight mirrors the Amish method for resolving issues. Employ natural systems whenever feasible, maintain straightforward designs, and construct items intended for generational use. Contrasting with metal herb racks, susceptible to rust, or plastic versions prone to cracking, these wooden dryers acquire an attractive patina as they age. The wood takes in minute quantities of essential oils, lending a faint, agreeable scent to the kitchen, even when empty. The cold frame garden extender. Does the gardening period feel overly brief? The Amish answer could astonish you with its refined simplicity. For generations, cold frames have been fundamental to Amish farming, enabling families to cultivate fresh vegetables well ahead of and following the usual cultivation time frame. Essentially, a cold frame comprises a wooden container topped with glass or transparent plastic. However, its efficacy stems from clever design concepts that capture solar warmth while shielding plants against frost. The angled top, oriented southward, maximizes sunlight absorption, whereas the wooden walls provide insulation from cold soil. Temperature control occurs organically. The top is opened slightly on warmer days to avoid excess heat and sealed firmly when frost looms. Certain Amish artisans incorporate ingenious automated ventilation mechanisms, employing beeswax plugs that liquefy and reveal small vents if temperatures climb excessively. The outcomes are self-evident. Cold frames generally prolong growing periods by 2 to 3 months during both spring and autumn. This translates to fresh lettuce, spinach, kale, and various greens, when most people rely on supermarket vegetables transported over vast distances. My acquaintance Samuel cultivates fresh lettuce throughout the winter, while I shell out $5 per head at the supermarket. His cold frame is positioned against his barn's southern wall, gaining from direct solar rays and warmth emitted by the structure. The construction materials amounted to under $50, and numerous Amish households have utilized the same frames for decades, needing only occasional glass replacement. This starkly differs from costly greenhouse kits, demanding continuous upkeep and potentially costing thousands for comparable outcomes. Off-grid blender. While the kitchen blender appears entirely contemporary, the Amish developed their own model functioning totally without electricity. Their blender, operated by pulleys, showcases a level of mechanical cleverness that surpasses many current kitchen devices. Affixed to a counter or table, this apparatus utilizes a hand-turned wheel linked to a pulley arrangement. Its brilliance resides in the gear mechanism, which converts reasonable hand-cranking effort into rapid blade movement. The primary wheel links to increasingly smaller wheels, amplifying the rotational velocity with each transition. The feature that genuinely distinguishes this Amish creation from basic hand crank tools is its variable speed capability. By repositioning the belt onto pulleys of differing dimensions, operators can choose distinct speeds suited to various ingredients, slower rates for dicing nuts or faster speeds for creating smooth blends. The blending jar itself closely resembles contemporary models, usually fashioned from durable glass and equipped with sharp stainless steel blades below. However, unlike electric units whose motors can overheat when processing difficult ingredients, the Amish counterpart merely demands a little extra physical effort. I observed an older Amish lady preparing flawless smoothies for her grandkids with one such blender. Although I found myself perspiring after just a few minutes of cranking, she appeared entirely unaffected by the exertion, conversing casually as she turned the handle. The true amusement arises from a price comparison. These mechanical wonders usually sell for about $75 when acquired from an Amish artisan, whereas fashionable, high-end electric blenders can cost $500 or more. Consider which one is likely to be functioning flawlessly 3 decades from now. It won't be the electrically powered one. The forever clothesline. Laundering clothes may appear commonplace, yet the Amish have enhanced even this routine chore with notable creativity. Their forever clothesline embodies generations of functional improvements, resolving issues many don't notice until garments end up soiled on the ground. Differing from typical clotheslines prone to sagging, knotting, and snapping, the Amish model employs a unique pulley setup ensuring ideal tension irrespective of how weight is spread. The primary line passes through several small wooden pulleys affixed to a central pole containing concealed counterweights which automatically adapt to the weight of the laundry. Its weather-enduring characteristics render this system genuinely exceptional. The lines are treated with natural beeswax and linseed oil, forming a water-resistant coating that inhibits mildew growth yet keeps the line pliable in frigid temperatures. The wooden parts undergo comparable treatment, enabling numerous systems to function for over 50 years with very little upkeep. Based on energy studies, the typical electric clothes dryer incurs operational costs of around $85 per year and generates approximately 2,000 pounds of carbon emissions annually. Extrapolate this over a lifetime, and the ecological and monetary advantages of the forever clothesline appear immense. My own clothesline features an ingenious device allowing me to hang all the wash from a single position before rotating the whole unit outwards to dry. This eliminates pacing with heavy baskets or straining for faraway lines. The pulleys operate so fluidly they are almost silent, unlike the noisy metal pulleys found on conventional clotheslines. Upon sharing this observation with my Amish neighbor, he simply grinned and replied, "Effective design speaks for itself." There might be profound truth in that statement. Ratcheting grain mill. Freshly milled flour significantly enhances baking, yet electric grinders are costly and loud. The smart construction of the Amish ratcheting grain mill addresses this issue using ingenious principles of mechanical leverage. The core of this apparatus is its ratchet handle mechanism. Pushing the handle forward activates gears that rotate the grinding stones. Pulling it back disengages the ratchet, permitting a reset without turning the stones backward. Consequently, effort is applied only during the forward stroke, rendering the grinding activity far less fatiguing than constant rotational cranking. The milling process utilizes 2 stone discs, typically granite, where the upper stone revolves against us. My initial experience with an Amish grain mill was unforgettable, though not positively. Lacking instruction to properly fasten it to the counter, a few vigorous cranks caused the entire device to overturn, scattering wheat berries across my kitchen like miniature table tennis balls. My cat reacted as if it were Christmas. Once it was correctly secured, I realized the impact of fresh flour. Commercially available flour typically loses the majority of its nutrients over months on the shelf. Freshly ground flour includes the complete grain kernel, bran, and germ included, offering superior fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Bread baked with fresh flour possesses a nutty, intricate taste unmatched by pre-milled varieties. Amish communities have employed these mills for generations, frequently refining them with minor enhancements. The model prevalent today incorporates robust cast iron parts together with classic wooden features, resulting in an implement capable of enduring for centuries with negligible upkeep. Solar food dehydrator. Well before rooftop solar arrays gained widespread popularity, Amish groups were utilizing solar energy for preserving food. Their solar food dehydrators exemplify a flawless grasp of physics concepts, operating without any wires or batteries. The passive heat-gathering mechanism functions remarkably due to its simplicity. An inclined container with a transparent glass or plastic cover captures solar rays, generating a greenhouse effect. The interior is coated black to optimize heat intake. Small openings near the base permit cool air entry while warm air escapes via upper vents. This establishes a natural airflow. Cooler air flows in, heats, ascends through tiered drying racks, and departs from the top, removing moisture from the food. It requires no fans or electrical power. The Ingenious airflow design guarantees uniform drying, preventing mold growth or decay. Temperatures within these dehydrators commonly hit 140 to 160 degree F on bright days, ideal for preserving fruits, vegetables, and herbs while retaining nutritional content. Electric dehydrators frequently subject food to excessive heat, which can eliminate precious enzymes and vitamins. I encountered an Amish farmer who preserves more than 200 pounds of apples, peaches, and berries annually solely with his solar dehydrator. The dehydrated fruit sustains his family throughout winter, needing no refrigeration, canning, or freezing. He constructed the entire device from leftover wood and a discarded window, with the total expense around $15. Contemporary commercial dehydrators range from $200 to $300 and continuously consume electricity. In contrast, these Amish solar models have performed the identical function without cost since prior to the invention of electricity. It certainly seems they were ahead of their time. The Amish embraced solar energy long before it became fashionable. The ecological advantages are also considerable. A standard electric dehydrator operating for 8 hours uses approximately 5 kilowatt of electricity and emits about 7 pounds of carbon dioxide. The solar counterpart produces no emissions and has no running expenses. Non-electric air conditioning. Staying cool in summer without power may appear unfeasible, yet the Amish have refined a method for naturally sustaining pleasant indoor temperatures. Their electricity-free air conditioning utilizes subterranean cooling concepts that existed centuries before modern refrigeration. The setup starts with a network of pipes situated 6 to 10 feet below ground level, where the Earth's temperature stays consistently around 55 degrees throughout the year, irrespective of atmospheric conditions. Air pulled through these subterranean pipes cools naturally to this temperature prior to entering the dwelling. Generating airflow absent electric fans constitutes the ingenious aspect. Amish constructors plan homes with calculated window and door positioning to establish natural convection flows. Warm air inherently ascends and departs via higher windows or roof vents, generating negative pressure that draws cooler air inward through the subterranean pipe network. The entire home ventilation functions exceptionally effectively. Data indicates these systems usually keep indoor temperatures 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit lower than the exterior air amid summer heat waves. During winter, the identical underground pipes serve to preheat incoming air, thereby lessening heating requirements. Contemporary central air conditioning units cost from $3,000 to $7,000 for installation and hundreds each year to run. The Amish cooling setup requires roughly $1,500 for materials and functions indefinitely with no further costs. My summertime visit to an Amish residence during a 95-degree heat wave proved illuminating. Although I anticipated sweating throughout our discussion, I discovered I was pleasantly cool within their house. The mild, constant airflow was entirely unlike the sharp, cold drafts from electric air conditioning. It felt more akin to resting beside a cool brook on a warm day. The ecological advantages are also significant. The typical residential air conditioner emits approximately 2,000 pounds of carbon dioxide each year. Considering millions of homes, the cumulative effect is vast. Maybe we can gain valuable insights from these straightforward yet potent Amish cooling methods. The harvest basket with ergonomic design. Back discomfort hinders productive effort, particularly during harvest time. Long before ergonomics became a common term in contemporary workplaces, the Amish had devised ways to avert strain during manual tasks. Their harvest baskets embody generations of meticulous design evolution. The distinctive weaving method results in a pliable frame that spreads weight uniformly, avoiding the localized pressure points responsible for most carrying-related injuries. Slender strips of oak or ash wood are immersed in water until flexible, then interlaced diagonally, yielding remarkable sturdiness with little mass. The arched handles represent the real masterstroke, in contrast to straight handles compelling wrists into awkward postures. These handles conform to the arm's natural contour, enabling weight to shift directly onto the more robust shoulder and back muscles. Additionally, the handles possess a subtle outward inclination, keeping the basket from hitting the carrier's legs during movement. Numerous baskets incorporate a tiered arrangement with partitions to segregate various kinds of produce. This reduces the number of journeys between the garden and storage area and minimizes handling of fragile items such as berries or tomatoes. Last autumn, during apple harvesting, I borrowed one such basket from my Amish neighbor. Following hours of picking without experiencing my typical back discomfort, I grasped why these designs have endured through the centuries. The basket contained almost double the weight of my plastic pail, but seemed lighter due to the effective weight dispersal. Research conducted by an agricultural college determined that these customary baskets lessened back muscle strain by roughly 40% relative to standard containers. The study also indicated that workers using these ergonomic designs could manage loads 25% greater with considerably reduced fatigue. While plastic shopping bags offer convenience, they are detrimental to one's joints. Perhaps adopting a lesson from the Amish perspective and reevaluating some of these historically proven carrying methods would be wise. Springless door closer. The gentle sound of a door closing perfectly is a pleasing noise in Amish workshops and residences. Doors shut autonomously via a sophisticated device that makes contemporary door closers seem inferior. The key? A complete absence of springs. Current door closers depend on hydraulics and springs which inevitably degrade, necessitating replacement every few years. The Amish counterweight arrangement utilizes basic gravity, the single force that operates perpetually. The device comprises a wooden lever fixed to the door's upper edge, linked to a cord passing through a pulley setup within the doorframe. A counterweight, often a small bag containing sand or metal fragments, is suspended from the cord's end. Opening the door raises the counterweight. Upon release, gravity draws the weight downward again, softly closing the door. The system's adjustability is what renders it exceptional. The closing velocity can be precisely calibrated by adding or subtracting substance from the counterweight. The pulleys themselves are generally wooden, featuring hardwood axles that rotate fluidly for decades, needing no lubrication. The system's lack of maintenance requirements makes it especially worthwhile. Whereas contemporary door closers need regular tuning and ultimate replacement, these Amish counterweight arrangements frequently function perfectly for over 50 years without any necessary action. How did we overlook this? This was my initial thought upon fitting one to my workshop door. Following years of doors either slamming violently or not closing fully, the smooth, dependable operation of the counterweight device felt truly eye-opening. The ecological consequences also merit attention. Modern commercial door closers incorporate hydraulic fluids and metals that frequently conclude their life cycle in landfills upon failure. The Amish model is constructed wholly from biodegradable or recyclable substances. Even the cord is usually natural hemp or cotton. Its silent functioning is an additional advantage difficult to ignore. There are no screeching springs or whirring hydraulics, only the muted contact of wood on wood as the door gently closes. Waterless plant waterer. The demise of plants during one's vacation often seems nearly unavoidable, yet the Amish have refined an autonomous watering method that maintains garden vitality for weeks, requiring no oversight. The earthenware pot irrigation technique is ingenious in its straightforwardness, relying on material characteristics instead of mechanical components. The method revolves around unglazed terracotta containers submerged to their edges in garden earth. Filled with water, these pots allow moisture to its brilliance is water usage data from agricultural research indicates these methods consume as much as 70% less water compared to traditional irrigation techniques. The gradual, consistent moisture supply reaches plant roots directly, preventing the evaporation and surface flow that squander the majority of water dispensed by sprinkler systems. My extended month-long holiday no longer culminates in returning to a horticultural graveyard. Thanks to several strategically positioned clay pots amongst my vegetables, I return to discover all plants flourishing despite the July temperatures. My neighbor's garden, reliant on automated sprinklers which failed, did not fare as well. An Amish cultivator showed me an enhancement involving attaching a reservoir bottle to each pot via a basic tube. This alteration enables the pots to function for extended durations before needing a refill. The technology's ancient roots contribute another intriguing dimension. Archaeological findings propose comparable systems existed in China more than 2,000 years ago and were utilized in North African desert areas for centuries. The Amish merely conserved and improved upon this age-old knowledge, while others focused on creating costly electronic timers and drip irrigation setups that habitually break down precisely when most crucial. The perfect dough box. Bread making has seen a resurgence lately, yet numerous home bakers find achieving consistent outcomes challenging. The solution could lie within an unassuming wooden container employed by Amish households for generations. The ideal dough box appears misleadingly basic, merely a rectangular wooden box with a snug lid. Yet its considered design integrates temperature regulation elements that foster optimal proofing environments. The substantial wooden sides, usually crafted from pine or cedar, shield the dough from abrupt temperature shifts capable of halting yeast action or leading to inconsistent rising. The unique quality of these boxes is their ability to sustain the ideal microenvironment for fermentation. Wood inherently balances humidity, absorbing surplus moisture if the dough is overly damp and releasing it if the surroundings turn too dry. Such a self-adjusting atmosphere cannot be replicated using metal or plastic boxes. The accuracy in rising time becomes apparent with regular use. My personal sourdough failures were notorious prior to finding this implement. Breads would either rise too much and deflate or not rise enough, staying heavy. The dough box revolutionized my baking by establishing uniform conditions for every batch. Amish bread makers have utilized these containers for centuries, handing them down through family lines. With age, the wood acquires a natural layer from exposure to flour and oils, forming a seasoned interior that enhances over time. Numerous boxes found in Amish kitchens appear darkened externally from age, but remain flawlessly smooth and golden within due to decades of service. The distinction between a decent loaf and an excellent one frequently hinges on managing fermentation. Industrial bakeries employ costly, climate-controlled proofing chambers to ensure uniform results. The Amish dough box attains the identical objective without electricity, mechanical components, or electronic interfaces. For individuals passionate about baking, this straightforward wooden device could be the key element needed for producing bakery standard bread in their own kitchen. Instant kindling maker. Igniting a fire swiftly is essential when one's home heating relies upon it. Born from necessity within Amish communities, the instant kindling maker resolves a common daily issue with impressive effectiveness, all while ensuring user safety. The construction focuses on a unique splitting apparatus that converts logs into ideal kindling, requiring little exertion. A metal wedge is fixed onto a sturdy platform equipped with guide rails to maintain perfect log alignment. Rather than wielding an axe and facing the inherent risks, the operator just positions a log onto the wedge and hits it with a heavy hammer or mallet. The integrated safety aspects render this tool especially beneficial. Conventional kindling preparation leads to thousands of injuries each year, whereas the enclosed design of this Amish creation keeps hands safely distant from the cutting edge. Furthermore, the guide mechanism eliminates the frequent issue of logs becoming unstable during the splitting process. The advantages in time saved are noticeable when preparing sufficient kindling for daily requirements. A typical household heated with wood usually spends about 15 minutes daily preparing kindling through standard means. The Amish kindling maker reduces this duration to less than 5 minutes. I first encountered this device after parting with $25 for a sack of premium fire starter sticks from the hardware store. Seeing me unload this acquisition, my Amish neighbor quietly fetched his kindling maker. In mere minutes, we generated triple the quantity of kindling at absolutely no cost. I felt akin to someone purchasing bottled water right beside a natural spring. These implements have been produced in Amish workshops for generations. The most ancient specimens, constructed entirely from hardwood with metal blades, continue to operate flawlessly even after more than a century of daily service. Contemporary models occasionally feature additional metal parts, yet the core design persists unaltered due to its proven effectiveness. Silent alarm clock. The startling sound of an electronic alarm initiates numerous mornings with a stress reaction. The Amish method for timely awakening employs natural light concepts harmonizing with human physiology instead of opposing it. Their soundless alarm clock consumes no power, makes no noise, and potentially functions more effectively than contemporary options. A precisely placed mirror arrangement collects early daylight and focuses it onto the sleeper's face at a specified moment. As the sun ascends, the light intensity gradually builds, mirroring the way our bodies naturally adapted to awaken. The device involves a small mirror fixed to an adjustable base outside a bedroom window. Its angle can be accurately adjusted to capture the initial sunbeams at the intended wake-up hour. Certain models feature a track enabling seasonal modifications to account for varying sunrise times. The advantages for sleep cycles are significant. Current studies validate that awakening to gradually increasing light results in lower stress hormone levels and greater morning alertness relative to sound-triggered alarms. Exposure to light naturally prompts the body to decrease melatonin output, facilitating a gentler shift from slumber to wakefulness. My own switch from electronic alarms to this technique occurred following a visit to an Amish settlement. Having felt how rejuvenated I was waking naturally with light, I set up a basic mirror system in my house. The change was instantaneous. Gone were the racing heartbeat and adrenaline rush, and the drowsy battles with the snooze button ceased. Regarding concerns about dependability, recall that Amish families operate dairy farms necessitating 4:30 a.m. milking routines. Tardiness is unacceptable. Their means of support rely on punctual awakenings, and these mechanisms have demonstrated reliability across generations. Contemporary sunrise simulation clocks attempt to mimic this effect using LEDs, often costing over $100, yet they lack the link to genuine daylight that renders the Amish approach so potent. Occasionally, the most ancient answers prove superior, particularly when they cooperate with our inherent biology, rather than conflicting with it. The forever broom. What is the usual lifespan of a broom in your house? Perhaps 6 months to a year. Within Amish homes, however, brooms frequently serve for decades due to an ingenious construction, enabling full refurbishment instead of disposal. This design, featuring replaceable components, exemplifies functional sustainability established centuries before contemporary ecological campaigns. Contrasting with factory-made brooms having glued or stapled parts, the Amish model boasts a wooden handle with a remarkably uncomplicated attachment method permitting removal and replacement of worn bristle sections. The ergonomic handle advancement warrants particular notice, whereas conventional brooms possess straight handles that compel users into awkward sweeping postures. The Amish design integrates a gentle curve conforming to human biomechanics. This minor alteration lessens back fatigue during prolonged cleaning tasks. Certain handles exhibit hand-sculpted grips expressly shaped to avert calluses from daily handling. Bristle substances are chosen for distinct functions. Firmer corn husks suit outdoor sweeping. Gentler broom corn is ideal for interior floors, and specialized materials such as horsehair are employed for gathering fine dust. This versatility allows a single handle to fulfill various cleaning roles merely by changing the head. These implements introduce significant improvements to cleaning practices. Previously, my back would hurt after only 20 minutes of sweeping my workshop. Since adopting an Amish-style broom, I find I can clean for more than an hour comfortably. The angled bristles access corners effectively, eliminating the need for awkward, muscle-straining postures. Numerous Amish settlements host adept broom artisans who provide for their own communities as well as external customers. Their trade embodies generational expertise with methods transmitted through family lines. The brooms themselves evolve into quasi-family heirlooms, their handles darkened and smoothed by decades of hand contact during routine tasks. In assessing genuine sustainability, maybe our focus should extend beyond fashionable new eco-products towards these historically validated designs, championing repair over disposal. The Amish implemented the principles of reduce, reuse, and recycle well before the phrase gained popularity. Zero-energy food storage. Could you accept that certain Amish households haven't bought ice for cooling purposes in more than 100 years? Their zero-power food root cellar innovation developed within Amish communities. Site selection involves temperature assessment occurs. The outcomes are remarkable. My effort to duplicate the adaptability of these systems, pressure-free, preserving food secure, advancements in water bath. The Amish approach in the broad-based canning vessel contained. My grandmother, perpetually dubious about novel canning procedures, offered her hesitant endorsement after observing an Amish woman showcasing this technique. The key lay in the exact temperature profile sustained during the entire canning procedure. Numerous commercial food preservation businesses have investigated these Amish techniques to refine their operations. This mild preservation strategy preserves superior texture and taste while upholding safety standards, an outcome frequently elusive in industrial canning. For home preservers apprehensive about pressure canners, which pose a risk of explosion if misused, this Amish option provides reassurance coupled with impeccably preserved goods. The perfect mousetrap. Managing household mice exasperates even the calmest homeowner. Conventional snap traps frequently fail or produce unpleasant messes. Using poison introduces risks concerning pets or children discovering it. Consider an answer from individuals who have coexisted closely with nature for generations. Kind catch-and-release mechanisms originating from Amish workshops demonstrate exceptional insight into mouse conduct. The wooden container design incorporates a finely poised entry ramp that tilts downward upon a mouse stepping on it, subsequently returning instantly to the shut position after the mouse enters. This unidirectional door mechanism guarantees flawless capture, causing no injury. What distinguishes this trap from commercially available plastic models is its capture efficiency. A study on rural pest management indicated these Amish-designed traps achieve capture on the initial night in 87% of instances versus 42% for standard commercial options. The key resides in the materials used. Mice possess a natural affinity for wood, whereas plastic frequently retains human and industrial odors that deter them. The apparatus incorporates a compact food compartment, enabling the mouse to stay comfortable pending release, thereby averting the distress responses that often cause captured mice to sustain injuries in commercial traps. A tiny aperture ensures ventilation without providing an escape route. My account of the Great Mouse relocation commenced when field mice infiltrated our home during the fall harvest. Following the capture of a single mouse using a purchased trap, I adopted the Amish design loaned by a neighbor. Over 3 nights, we successfully moved 14 mice to a field roughly half a mile distant. None returned to the residence. The workmanship of these traps mirrors generations of pragmatic issue resolution, devoid of breakable moving components, springs prone to wear, or parts needing replacement. Simply intelligent design, grounded in comprehending natural conduct rather than relying on forceful mechanical approaches. Oil lamp amplifier. Obtaining adequate illumination for reading or intricate tasks posed a persistent difficulty prior to electricity. The Amish, adhering to their customary practices, devised clever methods to enhance the light output from basic oil lamps. Principles of light reflection underpin these smart amplifiers. A standard oil lamp emits roughly 12 lumens of light, scarcely sufficient for reading. By incorporating a meticulously engineered reflector arrangement, Amish artisans boost usable light by 300% to 400%, extending functional illumination across a considerably wider space. The conventional amplifier comprises a burnished metal reflector situated behind the flame. However, the real Ingenuity is revealed in its form, not merely a basic arc, but a precisely computed parabola designed to channel light precisely as required. Certain versions feature adjustable sections capable of concentrating light for reading or diffusing it more broadly for ambient room lighting. Enhancements in room illumination are instantly noticeable when employing these amplifiers. One appropriately outfitted lamp can adequately light a whole dining table or workspace. Numerous designs integrate a pivoting base, enabling the light direction to be adjusted as evening pursuits vary. Contrasting with costly LED setups uncovers intriguing efficiency details. Although a contemporary LED light undoubtedly generates greater overall luminosity, the concentrated reflection mechanism of the Amish lamp amplifier frequently provides more functional light precisely where required for reading or detailed activities. An accurately placed oil lamp equipped with a reflector can indeed surpass a 60-watt incandescent bulb in apparent brightness at the specific work spot. I transitioned to utilizing an Amish-style lamp during prolonged power failures last winter. The most astonishing aspect was not merely the ability to read comfortably, but rather that the light quality seemed gentler on my eyes compared to electric illumination. The warm color temperature and lack of flickering lessened eye fatigue during nighttime reading. The concepts underlying these uncomplicated light enhancers impacted early-stage lighting and continue to feature in contemporary optical engineering. Occasionally, superior engineering arises when constraints foster ingenuity, as opposed to when technology eliminates all restrictions. Rain chain collector. Standard rain gutters become obstructed by leaves, fracture in freezing conditions, and candidly appear quite unattractive on many houses. Trust the pragmatically inclined Amish to devise an alternative that is simultaneously aesthetically pleasing and more efficient than typical options. Effective water collection begins with the chain structure. In contrast to solid gutters, which may overflow in intense rain, rain chains manage water via surface tension and regulated descent. Water adheres to the chain elements, tracing their surfaces downward in a managed fashion that avoids splashing and soil erosion near foundations. The ornamental utility merges functionality with aesthetic charm. Frequent designs incorporate copper receptacles, bells, or artistically shaped links forming agreeable water displays when it rains. The soft chiming noise produced as water descends, the chain imparts a contemplative ambiance to wet days. With time, copper chains acquire an attractive patina that further develops as they age. Rainwater gathering data demonstrates remarkable outcomes. A typical residence equipped with correctly fitted rain chains can channel and gather as much as 150 gallons of water from a mere 1 inch of precipitation. Amish dwellings usually integrate storage arrangements that treat this water for garden irrigation or following further purification for domestic drinking purposes. The Amish strategy for water preservation goes far beyond visual aspects. Their setups frequently feature carefully positioned rocks or gravel layers at the chain's termination point, establishing natural filtration to eliminate impurities before the water flows into collection containers or subterranean reservoirs. Throughout an especially arid summer, my garden endured solely due to the rainwater harvesting system I was taught to construct by an Amish neighbor. While other residents on my block incurred steep water charges to sustain parched lawns, my simple rain chain arrangement collected sufficient water from intermittent storms to ensure my vegetables continued yielding despite the drought. The straightforwardness of these arrangements masks their efficacy. The absence of moving components signifies nothing can malfunction, and the open structure avoids the blockages that trouble conventional gutter systems. This blend of aesthetics and utility epitomizes the pragmatic cleverness typical of numerous Amish creations. The ultimate compost turner. Generating fertile garden soil demands patience and considerable turning effort. Commercial compost rotating bins cost several $100s and frequently fail after only a few years. Conversely, Amish cultivators devised a basic implement that surpasses costly options while being significantly cheaper. Accelerating the breakdown process necessitates frequent aeration. The Amish compost aerator employs a main shaft fitted with arched prongs designed to be inserted into a compost heap and rotated. This motion establishes air channels within the pile, supplying oxygen that speeds up aerobic decomposition. The implement's extended handle provides leverage, minimizing the need to bend and thus easing back strain. Its effort-reducing design becomes particularly evident when contrasting labor time. Aerating a typical compost heap using a pitchfork requires approximately 30 minutes and substantial physical work. Utilizing the Amish turner, the identical pile can be thoroughly aerated in less than 5 minutes with very little strain. This effectiveness promotes more regular turning, significantly shortening the composting duration. The output rate of nutrient-rich compost, black gold, rises considerably with consistent use of this tool. Whereas conventional composting techniques usually yield finished compost within 6 to 12 months, correctly aerated heaps managed with this system can produce compost suitable for garden use in just 8 to 10 weeks. This quick cycle enables several batches per year, boosting the total production of soil enhancers. My personal vegetable garden's output doubled once I began applying correctly finished compost generated with this aerating tool. The contrast was remarkable. Plants exhibited more vigorous growth, higher yields, and improved resilience against pests and diseases. The key lay in the compost's quality, possessing an ideal nutrient equilibrium resulting from thorough decomposition. The workmanship of these implements mirrors their significance in Amish farming practices. The majority are hand-forged using high-carbon steel, which retains sharpness over years of service. The wooden handles are chosen meticulously for robustness and contoured for comfort during the necessary twisting action, in contrast to plastic compost rotating bins, which inevitably crack and contribute to landfill waste. These metal and wood implements frequently evolve into valued gardening tools transmitted across generations. The perfect paintbrush. Acquiring high-quality implements grows progressively harder within our throwaway society. The average paintbrush available at hardware retailers seldom endures beyond one task before shedding bristles. Such a disposable mindset is entirely. Advancements in natural bristles constitute only one facet of these exceptional tools. Amish brushes generally utilize boar or horsehair, yet the crucial element is the method of preparing and securing these bristles to the handle. The bristles undergo careful sorting based on length and pliability, followed by arrangement into exact configurations, yielding the optimal equilibrium between paint retention and smooth application. These brushes incorporate inherent cleaning characteristics that significantly prolong their functional life. The ferrule, the metallic strip joining bristles to the handle, possesses a subtly distinct form compared to commercial brushes, engineered to stop paint accumulating at the hard-to-clean bristle base. This minor yet vital alteration inhibits the solidification that ultimately destroys most brushes. A professional painter introduced to these brushes via an Amish furniture craftsman stated that a single set of these handmade implements endured 15 years of daily work, surpassing over 60 commercial brushes within that time frame. His account emphasized not only their durability, but also their exceptional performance, observing their increased paint capacity with reduced dripping and ability to produce finer finishes, showing fewer stroke lines. My personal encounter with these brushes occurred while refurbishing kitchen cabinets. The quality of the finish attained using the Amish brush gave the cabinets the appearance of being professionally sprayed, not hand-brushed. The brush retained sufficient paint to cover each cabinet door in one go, preserving a wet edge continuously for flawless merging of strokes. The handles themselves merit discussion. Crafted from hardwood chosen particularly for its low weight and resilience to paint thinners, They are contoured to lessen hand tiredness during prolonged work. The point of balance is deliberately situated to reduce strain on the wrist. These 25 Amish creations showcase enduring wisdom that collaborates with nature rather than opposing it. Lacking sophisticated technology, they have fashioned clever answers, frequently proving more dependable, sustainable, and potent than contemporary options. Maybe genuine innovation doesn't invariably involve increasing complexity, but occasionally lies in discovering refined simplicity.